This is the starboard leg from the original deck. This piece actually goes at the very edge of the deck vertically between the bottom of the hull and the bottom of the deck. And I built one of these. I kind of debated doing it a little bit different, and then the other night I finally decided, you know, I'm going to build it just like the original one. And so I went ahead and cut it out and put it in last night, and I just didn't like the way it fit, or actually didn't really fit. It kind of fit. We'll go up in the boat and take a look at that. Okay, we're up by the forward bulkhead. I've put the straight edge on the two tunnels in between the center pod and the sponsons. So it's actually sitting where the bottom of the deck would typically go. So the deck's actually going to be half an inch higher in our case because we're going to go back with 1/2 inch plywood. Now if you look over at the edge, you can see kind of where the deck was originally tabbed in. And you'll notice that the straight edge, the top or the bottom of it's actually higher than where the deck was. That means the deck curved down that way. And I think that may have been to try to get this forward area up here to drain. There was a hole through it. However, it was about, I think about 1 foot off the end, so I think water ended up ponding up there, and I didn't like that. So my original thought was to go ahead and raise this up where it just goes straight all the way across. The other night I got to thinking, I was like, you know, I'm just going to do it the way they originally did it and keep this simple. So I'll kind of show you what happened when I did that. This is the front 4 feet of the piece that I made that was actually the entire length. You'll notice how I can stick my finger under this. I guess when they built this, and I built this piece off of what they did, the piece is actually straight right now. I looked at both sides. I thought maybe they cut a curve in the bottom, but they didn't. And I guess they just put this in here and put a big weight on it, tried to push it down or something. You can see clearly how the top of this has to go down in order to get the deck down low enough to match up with this line where it was originally installed. So that was part of the problem. I really didn't like that. I guess I could find something heavy, a sandbag or something, and put it down, but I just really don't like trying to force something to fit. We'll look a little further back. Now if we go back the next 4 feet and on back towards the back of the hull, it actually fits nicely on the bottom. So what I decided to do is go ahead and redo this piece up here, and I've actually decided to do it in pieces that are actually attached to the plywood, which is a little different than what they did, but I think that'll give me a little bit more control over what I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and rebuild this piece here and make it so that it follows this contour on the bottom, but instead of diving down, that it actually matches the contour of this. And that's the other thing that's kind of important to understand about these center hull things, or tunnels, is again, they're not flat either. So originally this piece of plywood was actually curving down at the front and then curving up this way. And that kind of threw me off. I was sitting there thinking, how could they get a 1/2 inch piece of plywood to do that? So I went back and looked at the piece of deck I had a little closer, which had quite a bit of fiberglass on it, which kind of built the thickness up, and I got to looking at it, and it was actually 3/8 plywood. I've got 4 sheets of AC plywood fur that I'm going to use. It's already paid for, so we're going to go back with the 1/2 inch. But I think by basically projecting this curve out to this line here so that we just have a bend in this one direction, I think that will actually work pretty nicely. So I've got to get that done next. Now I'm going to show you what's going on in the back part of the boat, because that's actually going to be built pretty similar to what they originally did. Okay, you'll notice that the board contacts the center hump or tunnel on both sides all the way across to sitting level. Now if we go back a little ways, back by the motor mount, you'll notice that there's a gap here on both sides. And the reason why is, if we just laid our board straight across flat like we did in the front, we'll notice that the deck is actually higher on the outside. It's basically the reverse condition of the inside. So the way they had this set up, it was bending towards the middle, which I guess was an effort to channel the water down towards the middle. The back does the same thing, so it has a little bit of a slope. So this is basically a single curve. It's not a compound curve like the front. So I'm going to do this exactly like they did the original. That way my piece of plywood will come down and bend in the middle and get full contact across here. So I've got about, let's see, probably 8 or 10 custom made little pieces like this to cut out and fiddle with and then attach to the plywood. So I don't know, this is a lot more tedious than I thought it was going to be. I don't know why I thought it would be easy. I guess sometimes these deals are. This one's not going to be. So I guess I better get started and cut some lumber out and start cutting it to fit.